The towering presence of Mount Everest draws in thousands of adventurers each year, all with the same ambitious goal of conquering the world's most renowned peak. However, not all who venture to its summit return unscathed. The harsh reality of scaling an 8,849-meter behemoth is that accidents are an inevitable part of the journey. Whether it be sudden weather changes, unforeseen injuries, or the unforgiving scarcity of oxygen, every step on Everest is a gamble with life itself. Since the inception of record-keeping in 1922, the Himalayan database has documented the tragic loss of at least 322 souls on Mount Everest, averaging approximately 4.4 deaths annually, a number that steadily climbs with each passing year. The first successful summit was achieved in 1953, marking the beginning of a grim statistic that sees 4 to 5 individuals perish on the mountain every year. It wasn't until the 1990s, with the advent of commercial expeditions, that the mountain saw a surge in climbing attempts. Among the countless tragedies that have marred Everest's history, to date stand out in infamy. The devastating earthquake of April 25, 2015, claimed the lives of 19 individuals at the base camp, while the heart-wrenching avalanche on April 14, 2014, swept away 16 Nepali climbing guides, forever etching their names in the annals of mountaineering lore. Despite the chilling reality that approximately 200 bodies still rest upon the mountain, their presence serves as a haunting reminder of the perilous nature of Everest. The frozen remains of fallen climbers litter the slopes, a grim testament to the unforgiving embrace of the mountain. Yet, the daunting task of retrieving these bodies remains an arduous and treacherous endeavor. In the unforgiving environment of Everest's highest reaches, known as the death zone, bodies quickly freeze into the mountain, rendering recovery efforts a hazardous and impractical feat. The sheer weight of these frozen figures, often exceeding 300 pounds, coupled with the logistical challenges and unpredictable weather, make any attempt at retrieval a perilous gamble with fate. Tragically, some have paid the ultimate price in their valiant efforts to bring closure to the families of the fallen. As a result, the fallen climbers of Everest continue to linger on its slopes, their presence a somber reminder of the sacrifices made in pursuit of the ultimate challenge. Among these solemn reminders lies Rainbow Valley, a poignant testament to the lives lost in the pursuit of conquering the world's highest peak, their colorful jackets serving as a stark contrast to the harsh reality of Everest's unforgiving embrace. With an estimated 300 souls lost in the quest for the summit, the legacy of those who rest upon Everest's slopes serves as a poignant reminder of the inherent risks that accompany the pursuit of greatness. In these videos, I aim to capture the introspective journeys of a select group of courageous adventurers who have disappeared into the mystique of Everest. In the quiet village of Kampajong, Tibet, a brilliant mind and adventurous spirit came to a sudden halt. Alexander Mitchell Kellis, a British chemist, explorer, and mountaineer, met his untimely end in 1921, succumbing to a heart attack. His journey from Sikkim to the first expedition to Everest was cut short, leaving behind a legacy of high-altitude physiology studies. Having just completed a grueling expedition to Macabre, Kellis had only enjoyed a brief respite of 9 days before continuing his trek. With Mount Everest looming in the distance, he was just a day's hike away from beholding its majestic beauty for the first time. As the winds whispered through the Himalayan valleys, his spirit lingered, forever etched in the annals of mountaineering history. In the vast expanse of the towering Himalayas, a story unfolds that whispers of bravery and mystery. Andrew Cumming Sandy Irvine, a name lost in the clouds of time, a British mountaineer who ventured into the unknown depths of Mount Everest, alongside his companion George Mallory, they embarked on a daring expedition in 1924, aiming for the summit of the world's highest peak. As the chilling winds of fate swept across the unforgiving slopes, Irvine and Mallory vanished into the mist, leaving behind only echoes of their valiant quest. Decades later, In the year 2024, a team from National Geographic, led by the intrepid Jimmy Chin, made a startling discovery. Irvine's fragmented remains emerged from the icy embrace of a melting glacier, revealing a poignant reminder of a lost era. Among the frozen relics, a solitary foot encased in a weathered boot bore the name A.C. Irvine, a haunting symbol of a life interrupted by the unforgiving forces of nature. The cameras that once captured their journey remain shrouded in mystery, lost to time amidst the towering peaks of Everest. And as the shadows of history dance upon the snow-covered slopes, the enigma of Irvine's final moments lingers in the pensive silence of the mountains. In the early 1920s, George Herbert Le Mallory, an English mountaineer, embarked on a remarkable journey with his climbing partner, Andrew Sandy Irvine, to conquer the daunting Mount Everest. Tragically, during the 1924 expedition, Mallory and Irvine vanished on Everest's northeast ridge, leaving behind a lingering mystery. Their last sighting, just 800 vertical feet from the summit, has sparked endless speculation on whether they achieved their ultimate goal before their untimely demise. Decades later, in 1999, Mallory's remains were discovered at a staggering altitude of 26,760 feet, shedding some light on their fateful expedition. Despite the clues uncovered, the question of whether they successfully reached the summit remains unanswered. When questioned about his relentless pursuit of Everest, Mallory simply stated, "Because it's there." The enigmatic allure of their story continues to captivate minds and evoke a sense of contemplation about the mysteries of the human spirit. In the quiet solitude of the Himalayas, a lone figure once dared to defy the odds and challenge the mighty Mount Everest. Maurice Wilson, a British soldier with a mystic soul, embarked on a journey of faith and determination in 1934, driven by an unconventional belief in the power of fasting and divine intervention. Wilson saw Everest not just as a mountain, but as a sacred vessel for global transformation. Despite his lack of experience in mountaineering and flying, he courageously flew from Britain to India, sneaking into Tibet and ascending to an impressive height of 6,920 meters on Everest's unforgiving slopes. Tragically, Wilson's ambitious quest ended in sorrow as his body was discovered the following year by a British expedition. Eric Shipton's team stumbled upon Wilson's final resting place at the foot of the North Col, a poignant scene of solitude and sacrifice. His diary, a testament to his unwavering spirit, lay beside him, a silent witness to his brave but ultimately futile endeavor. As the winds whispered through the icy crevasses, Wilson's legacy remained shrouded in mystery and contemplation. Did he succumb to exhaustion or starvation in his lonely tent, surrounded by the unforgiving elements of nature? The answers may forever elude us, but his story lingers on, a poignant reminder of the relentless pursuit of dreams in the face of insurmountable challenges. Harshvardhan Bahuguna, born 1939, was a leading mountaineer of India and a military officer. He was an instructor of skiing and mountaineering at the high-altitude warfare school, Gulmarg, and had successfully climbed many mountains. He died as part of the international expedition on Mount Everest. On April 18, 1971, that was his second attempt. He had to abort his first expedition in 1965, just 400 feet short of the summit. 14 years later, in October 1985, his younger brother, Major Jayavardhan Bahuguna, also lost his life in a Mount Everest expedition of the Indian Army, along with 4 other Army officers. Neither of the brothers would summit Mount Everest, and both died near the same area in their second attempts. Devoisu, a French mountaineer and mountain guide, hailed from a family of skilled skiers, including his aunts and uncle, who were all part of the French teams. In 1974, feeling a sense of disappointment and astonishment that no Frenchman had reached the summit of Everest 20 years after Edmund Hillary's historic conquest, Devoisu took matters into his own hands. He organized an expedition comprised solely of Chamonix guides, with the ambitious goal of completing the first ascent of the west ridge of the world's highest peak, all without the use of oxygen. Tragically, on the fateful night of September 9th to 10th, 1974, a massive avalanche tore through a steep couloir below the ridge while Devoisu rested at Camp 2, situated at an elevation of 6,900 meters, 22,600 feet. The force of the avalanche triggered secondary flows that claimed the lives of Devoisu and 5 Sherpas, their tents plunging into the abyss. It wasn't until 1999, a quarter of a century later, that the Compagnie des Guides de Chamonix honored the memory of Devoisu by dedicating its prestigious annual Medal of Honor to him. In the misty shadows of the towering Mount Everest, a lone figure named Michael McBurk ventured into the unknown, his camera capturing the beauty and danger of the unforgiving terrain. As the winds howled and the snow whipped around him, Michael's heart beat with a sense of adventure and trepidation. He was a man of courage, facing the mountain's challenges head-on, even as doubt lingered in his mind. With each step, he pushed himself further, his determination driving him towards the summit. But as the clouds descended and the icy grip of the mountain tightened, Michael's fate became uncertain. Did he reach the summit, his camera capturing the breathtaking view from the top? Or did he succumb to the unforgiving nature of Everest, disappearing into the abyss? The mystery of Michael McBurk's final moments lingers in the crisp mountain air, a reminder of the bravery and sacrifice of those who dare to challenge the heights of the world's tallest peaks. In the quiet solitude of the towering mountains, Ray Jennett, known affectionately as Pirate, embarked on his final journey. A Swiss-born American mountaineer, he carved his path on the icy slopes of Denali and beyond. As the moon cast its gentle glow on the snowy peaks, Jennett's spirit soared among the stars, leaving behind a legacy etched in the hearts of those who dared to dream. On that fateful night, as the chilling winds whispered tales of ancient glaciers, Jennett and his companion Hannelore Schmatz faced the harsh embrace of the Himalayas. Exhausted yet determined, they sought refuge in the icy embrace of the night, their Sherpa guides urging them to press on. But fate had other plans, and in the stillness of the night, Jennett succumbed to the icy grip of hypothermia, his spirit ascending to the heavens, leaving behind a trail of memories etched in the icy expanse of Everest. And as the first light of dawn kissed the snowy peaks, Jennett's legacy lived on, a testament to the indomitable spirit of those who dare to reach for the stars. Hannelore Schmatz was a German climber and the 4th woman to summit Mount Everest. She collapsed and died as she was returning from summiting Everest via the southern route. Schmatz was the first woman and first German citizen to die on the upper slopes of Everest. Hannelore's body was visible for years to climbers ascending Everest via the southern route. She was frozen in a seated posture against her backpack, with her eyes open and hair whipped by the wind. Hannelore lay just 330 feet above Camp 4. One mountaineer described her corpse as a sinister guard. Eventually, in 1984, after sitting for a dozen years, the mountain claimed her entirely. Her body was lost to the winds over the Kangshan face. She had slid down the mountain slope, finally resting out of sight. Marty Hoey was a mountaineer and mountain guide who took part in a 1982 expedition to Mount Everest. During an attempted ascent that would have made her the first American woman to summit Everest, she plunged over the edge of the Great Couloir to her death as the result of an unsecured climbing harness. She had scaled Washington's Mount Rainier over 100 times and led expeditions on Alaska's Denali. Expedition teammate Jim Viscovire said that he and Marty were perched on a 45-degree rock slope at about 26,600 feet, carrying gear to establish Camp 6, with the expectation of heading for the summit in the next day or two. Viscovire said that Marty leaned back to let him go ahead, and a buckle on her harness opened, releasing her from the fixed rope and sending her plunging down 6,000 feet into a crevasse. Marty's body was never recovered. Whitaker said, "I can't think of a more beautiful resting place. She fell into the prettiest place that ever was." In the quiet solitude of the towering Mount Everest, a somber tale unfolds. On that fateful day in 1982, the ambitious spirits of Peter Boardman and Joe Tasker embarked on a daring journey to conquer the pinnacles on the uncharted northeast ridge. As they ascended to around 8,250 meters, the unforgiving mountain claimed them, leaving behind a void in British mountaineering history. The echoes of their disappearance still linger, a poignant reminder of the risks and sacrifices intertwined with the pursuit of greatness. A decade later, a Japanese-Kazakh expedition ventured into the treacherous terrain, only to be halted by the daunting challenge that lay ahead. Among the jagged peaks, a solemn discovery was made, a lone figure beyond the second pinnacle, a testament to the unforgiving nature of Everest. In the hushed whispers of the mountain winds, the memory of Peter Boardman lives on, his legacy etched in the annals of mountaineering lore. The enigmatic allure of Everest beckons, a haunting tribute to those who dared to defy its icy embrace. Hristo Ivanov Prodanov, also known as Hristo Prodanov, was a Bulgarian mountaineer. Prodanov was the first Bulgarian to climb Mount Everest, doing it via the most difficult way, the West Ridge, as well as alone and without oxygen. Prodanov was the first person to climb Everest in April, when the weather conditions are generally too bad for an expedition, and also the 13th first person from the West Ridge to climb Everest without using bottled oxygen. Climbing the summit at 18:15 local time, he had to descend overnight and got lost shortly after that. On the next afternoon, he reported he had lost his gloves and soon would be unable to hold the radio button long enough to talk. His body was never found. In the quiet solitude of the mountains, there lived a man known as Dime. Hailing from the picturesque lands of Macedonia, then a part of Yugoslavia, he was a daring mountaineer with a spirit as vast as the peaks he conquered. Born in the charming town of Bitola, he set his sights on the ultimate challenge, Mount Everest. On a fateful day in 1989, Dime etched his name in history as the first Macedonian to reach the summit of the world's highest peak. With unwavering determination, he unfurled the flags of both former Yugoslavia and Macedonia, a testament to his roots and his triumph. But as the world celebrated his remarkable feat, a shadow loomed over the mountaineering community. Dime, after conquering Everest, vanished without a trace, leaving behind a legacy shrouded in mystery and sorrow. To honor his memory and his daring spirit, a solemn march to Pelister, aptly named after him, takes place every year. It is a poignant reminder of his greatest achievement and the heartbreaking loss that followed, echoing through the windswept valleys of Macedonia. Thank you all so much for watching. There are so many more peoples whose lives were lost in Mount Everest that I am working on researching, and this will be the first of several videos on the subject. I didn't want each video to be oppressively long, so I'm aiming to keep them at around 20 minutes. Thank you for watching until the end of this first episode. I look forward to adding more videos on this subject soon. Again, I appreciate each and every one of you, and just wanted to thank you for spending your time with me and helping me to keep the memories of these lost adventurers alive. Thank you.